I wanted to ask you about that. I mean, the polling data is astounding about how much more popular joining unions is now. What do you think gave that such a shot in the arm? A lot of conservatives, Republicans even support, stronger unions now in this country. What changed in the past 2 years to make unions so much more popular, even though the number of
Uh,
people in unions isn't as high?
yeah, I'll illustrate it with a story. There's a young man in my office who's engaged. Uh, they both grew up in Youngstown. I don't know his fiance, but he's talked to me about their parents. His father works in a steel plant, does almost identical work to her father. Her father carries a union card. His father doesn't. They work, as I said, in more or less competitive kinds of comparable sorts of plants. And he just talks about what she tells him about growing up with having enough, and he talks about his growing up when he never really quite had enough. And he is such a strong believer in unions. He probably would be anyway, just his background and all. But when he makes that contrast and sees, and more people are making that contrast, more and more people. I mean, the right wing always is going to go after unions and hates unions because it diminishes the power of the corporate elite. I understand that. So there's always many in the media, and the media has I don't think there's media bias much in this country, but I do think that editors and newspapers all over the country have an anti-union bias because they're management, and that's reflected in the editorial pages of from the Wall Street Journal to the Cleveland Plain Dealer, and so what. But the fact is that more and more people are hearing more and more stories that carrying a union card matters in their lives and makes their standard of living better. And we're seeing that something we but just more focus on that today than I've seen in my career.